Hello, good evening, and welcome to another program on Become a Better Man platform. My name is Tunde Disu. Thank you for being part of today's program, and my sincere apologies that we couldn't have the program as usual yesterday, but we're here today. Thank you for indulging me on this occasion. Last week we started looking at a broad topic, making 2019 count. Making 2019 count. And we looked at exposure or broadening your horizon last week. We are still on that same umbrella topic of making 2019 count, but on today's program, we're looking at making quality decisions. Making quality decisions. You see, decisions are the benchmark of life. Decisions are the benchmark of life. Every of your life situation, every of your life circumstance, the totality of your life and my life, as at this very hour, is a product of decision. Many decisions that we made. Even when we didn't make a decision, it was still a decision. So you can't live your life. I cannot live my life. None of us can exist outside of decision. Decision is the bedrock, is the benchmark, is the foundation, is the building blocks for life. Your decision and my decision is a roadmap to our destinations in life. And this destination, the journey towards this destination is taken one step at a time by decision. Every decision that you make, every decision that I make is leading us either towards our destination or further away from our destination. But you see, your decision, as important as it is, the decisions of life, as crucial as they too are functions of the quality of the information that you have to make that decision. It is one thing to be able to make a decision, which we all can do, but the quality of your decision, the authenticity of your decision, the value of your decision, the product, the outcome of your decision is a function of the ingredients that went into making that decision. And those ingredients are called information. So as good and as vital, as critical and as important as decision making is, it is still it is still subjected to the quality of the information that goes into it. So, what are we saying? Rather than worrying and beating yourself up and crying yourself to sleep and pulling your hairs out because of decisions, I think the best thing for us is to start by making sure, by establishing, by confirming, by handling the process of gathering the information that goes into those decision making, and making sure the sources of our information, the quality of that information, the authenticity of that information, the relevance of those information is very, very, very crucial. So if you want to arrive at destination happy, destination prosperous, destination fulfillment, destination peace, rather than just praying and fasting, rather than just going from pillar to post, put that effort. Start by upgrading the quality of the information at your disposal. Start by enlarging your horizon. Start by increasing the size, the mouth of the funnel that you use to gather your information. Start by scrutinizing the sources of your information. Spend some time determining, establishing, and upgrading the source of your information, because the quality of your decision is a product of the information that you have at your disposal, that will guide you, that you will use in making that decision. It is critical to establish what your destination is. Don't get me wrong. Destination and destiny, they are critical, they are important, they are the essence of life. It is what determines whether you live a driven life or a directed life. The destination, your destiny, is the purpose, the reason why you and I are here. So, in establishing your destiny, it is critical that you also concentrate on making good quality decisions that will lead you in the direction of where your destiny or your destination is. Because if your decisions are contrary or going in the opposite direction, or not aligning with the purpose for your life, or not leading you towards your destination, it will be all work and nothing to show for it. It will be all effort. You will be busy, but busy doing nothing. Just because you having activities does not equate productivity. But you see, in order for your activities, in order for your efforts, in order for your inputs to lead towards a result, a tangible, quantifiable, quality result, it must be aligned with your purpose. It must be aligned or lead you in the direction of your destination. If not, you will never arrive at anywhere. And if you don't know where you're going, as it's been said before, everywhere you get to will be it. Somebody once said, I would rather travel with a one-legged man or no-legged man who is going in my direction than to travel with a two-legged man who is going in the opposite direction. Because it's not the issue is not about whether you have one or two legs. The issue is not about whether you have legs or not. The issue is, are you going in my direction? Are you going in the same direction that I'm going? Is my life and your life, are they aligning like two parallel lines going in the same direction, or are they tangent and going in opposite direction? And one of the things that you and I must be mindful of, especially in choosing who travels with you on your journey of life towards your purpose and direction. One of the most important things you must always consider is the quality of association that you have, is the quality of the friends around you, the people around you, whether you like it or not, whether you agree to it or not. The people around you will ultimately influence you in one way or another. But in all of this, with all that said and done, the quality of the information that you have, where you have it, how you have it, where you have it, will determine the quality of your decision. I don't know about you, but I've made some decisions in my life, many of them, where I then look back and say to myself, if I have the information I have now, if I had them then, I probably would not have made this particular decision. What am I saying? It is one thing for you to make a decision, but in order to avoid living a life of regret and self-condemnation, it is important for you at the point of entry that you decide, you choose the information that goes into the processing of your decision, you choose those information carefully. There is no magic to success in life, ladies and gentlemen. There isn't. There is no magic to reaching your destination. There is no magic to fulfilling your destiny. Every destiny, every success in life is a product of process. It's a product of methods. It's a product of excellent decisions that are made. But all of that are still subject to the quality of information that you have at your disposal. So it is critical, very important, therefore, that we don't just make decisions. We don't just rush into decisions. We don't make decisions casually. We don't make decisions without paying due attention to the quality of information that we have. None of us, no one can become a success by accident. Every true success, every genuine success is a product of careful planning, followed by tediously working those plans and making assessments and adjustments as you go along. Nothing good comes out of accident. In fact, the word accident, it simply means something that is contrary to the norm, something that is outside of the norm. You don't want to live your life on chances. You don't want to live your life maybe or maybe not. Whatever will be, will be. No. Every inch of your life and my life must be guarded, must be carefully decided, must be thoroughly processed by the quality of information we have in order for us to make quality decisions as we go along. Making quality decisions, making sound decisions, making life-changing decisions, making decisions that will outlast you. They are easy, especially when you have the right information. When you have the right information, making decisions is easy. It will be easier, it will be quicker for you to make good quality decisions if you have the right information. Like I said before, every success, every true success is a product of hard work. It's a product of conscious effort. It's a product of consistently applying yourself to quality decisions based on good information. You can't make good decisions from poor information. You cannot make good decisions from poor information. And that is why it is so important, especially in this day and age, in this life that we live, in this generation and society of instant everything, of fast this and fast that, of instant this and instant that, of do it now, do it now, do it now. It is important that you don't rush into making any decision, because every decision that you make in a rush will lead to a life of regret and self-condemnation. Almost every decision that you make. So instead of rushing into making a decision, instead of jumping head first and then look where you're going to land, instead of you know the old saying, look before you leap. Instead of jumping and then start thinking, oh, is there a safety net down there? No, look first that there's a safety net. Look first that there's a soft landing. Ensure that where you're going to end up will be conducive and comfortable before you leave. Rather than take your time, rather than rush into making a decision, take your time. Now, I'm not saying waste your time. I'm saying take your time. I'm not saying procrastinate till all your analysis turn into paralysis. I'm not saying delay it and be indecisive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take your time. Make slow decisions. Make wise decisions. Make decisions that are free from desperation. Anything that has to be done now, 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 if you don't do it now, it's not going to back off. You know the old saying, if it's good, too good to be true, maybe it is. Any decision that you have to make in an instant where you don't have the opportunity to consider the pros and the cons, and examine the quality of information that is gone into the process of making that decision. Any decision that is made in a haste, or any decision that is made under undue pressure or duress, 9 times out of 10, the result will be calamity, regret, and pain. Every decision that is made out of desperation, every decision that is made out of emotion. I like what Auntie Joyce Meyer said. She said your emotion is fickle. It's here today, gone tomorrow. You are happy now, the next minute you are not happy. You are smiling now, the next minute you are crying. So when you allow your emotion to guide your decision making, what would you do? How would you feel? Where would you be when that emotion is gone? When that season of you dancing and clapping, when it's not there, what would then become of you? Every decision that is made out of haste is a product of poor counseling, which is the same thing as poor information. Have you ever heard of doctors? Or have you been to the doctors, or have you heard where somebody is due to go for a maybe open surgery or a major operation in the hospital, or a major surgical operation or whatever, and they've been through the consultant's office, and they've done this test, they've checked this, they've done that, and just about the time to make the decision to say, right, we're going to do the operation on so day, the doctor will say, do you know what, let's get a second opinion. Let's get a second opinion. What is it they saying? It's not because the doctor is not sure of his knowledge, of his ability or her ability to diagnose you and prescribe what you need. No. The Bible said, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So the doctor will say, I think we should get a second opinion. I know to some people that's like, oh, I don't want to wait. I need to get this. Yes. But at the same time, there have been instances where the second opinion has been even more relevant and more advantageous to the patient than if they had rushed into the first decision that was made. It's the same thing in life, especially where people, for instance, rush into marriage. Oh, I'm 35 years old. I'm 42 years old. The time is going. My clock is ticking, and this and that. And then you rush yourself into a marriage because you think you are getting older, because you think this and that. The years are going. Now, I'm not saying you should sit forever and not get married. That's not what I'm saying. But don't let your emotion run you to making a life decision. Wisdom is that you don't make a permanent decision based on temporary information. So if you rush into marriage just because you're getting older, just because he's the only one or she's the only one for you, few years down the line, you're going to look at each other, or you're going to look at her or look at him and just be angry. Be angry, not about your spouse or regarding your spouse, but you'll be angry with yourself because you rush yourself in, and there is no reverse gear in this vehicle. The Bible says when you make good decisions, your soul will live in ease and your children will inherit the earth. So when your decisions are good, you will enjoy rest and your children will be happy. For that alone, I think it's worth looking at decision making. Indecision is worse than making bad decisions, because a lot of people end up not making decisions, but what they fail to realize is that by you not making a decision is equally a decision. For instance, I want to give some examples of indecisions, even though you might not call them indecisions. You don't like your job. You're always complaining about your job and your workplace and this and that. But you know you have the opportunity, you have the ability to change that job. But you don't want to change the job just because you don't want to miss the lunchtime banter in the staff canteen. I know some of you will think, oh, come on, that's not possible. I'm telling you it is. It is a reality. Another example. You know this hairdresser is not good for you. This is for ladies now. You know that this hairdresser or this pedicure or manicure, whatever it is, you know she's not good for you, because every time you go, they will ruin your hair by applying the wrong chemical, and they will burn your scalp by applying the wrong chemical. They will waste your time. They will do whatever. And you come home and complain till the cow comes home. But you don't want to change to another hairdresser because, oh, that hairdresser was recommended by my auntie before she died. Really? Maybe you've been going to this church. You were part of the founding members. You laid the very first brick to build this church. And so you've been part of the church from the beginning. But you know in your heart of heart, the Spirit of God that witnesses to you, you know in your heart that the doctrines and the practices and the traditions in this church, they are way from what the Bible teaches and what the Bible says. Instead of you to vote with your leg and go somewhere else, well, you know, we started this together. I have to support my pastor. Indecision is worse than bad decision. The truth is, we don't need a revelation when you have good information. You don't need an angel to swing on your chandelier for you to know that you need to apply that thing called common sense. Revelation is only needed when the information is hidden or is not available. And that's when you need revelation. But where information is available, where you can deduce the right from the wrong, where you can see the difference between the white and the black, where you can see completely, clearly, that this is not leading in the direction of your destiny. You don't need revelation. You need to apply common sense, because the information is there, right in front of you, telling you you need to walk away from this. There are some decisions that you don't even need to pray about. You don't need to consult anybody. You just look at them and common sense says to you, run. You don't see a snake crawling all over your house and then you say, oh, no. You run. Be vigilant. Be vigilant. Pay attention to things around you. But in order to make good decisions, in order for you and I to make good decisions, in order for us to make 2019 count by making good, solid destiny decisions, we must take necessary steps to make sure to get the required information, but more than that, to ensure that the information that we have are of the highest quality. They must be of the highest quality. What is information? Information, according to the dictionary, is knowledge that is obtained from investigation, from studying, or from getting instruction or facts or details about a subject matter. That's what information is. So before you make your decision, have you obtained the necessary facts? Have you investigated what is available, what is currently at your disposal? Have you taken instruction from a learned person, from somebody that has been around that block before? Have you considered the pros and the cons? Have you examined the quality of the information that you are using, that you are basing your decision on? Because the quality of the information will eventually pop up in the quality of the decisions that you make. And those decisions will ultimately determine your destination in life and what your destiny and legacy will be. So quickly, let us look at some of the characteristics of good information. Characteristics of good information. Because like we said, information is not just input and output. I remember when we were first learning about how computer works and all of that, they told us garbage in, garbage out. It is what goes in that will determine what comes out on the other side. So what are some of the characteristics? What are the things to look out for in determining the quality of the information at your disposal that will help you in making quality decisions? Good information, number one, must be accurate. It must be accurate. It must be based on correct and complete data that has been processed correctly, that has gone through the right path. Because even if the raw data is good, is excellent, if the trajectory, if the journey, the transference of that data is corrupted, that data is corrupted. Accuracy of the data, of the information you have is crucial, is critical. The accuracy of your information must be weighed and examined and determined and appreciated in order for you to consider that information as being as good information, so that you can rely on it, because you know it is going to form a part and parcel of your decision-making process. So the information must be accurate. It must be accurate. Number two, it must be timely. You must have that information at your disposal at the right time. What's the point of you having the information after you've made the decision? Information must be given in a timely manner. You don't go to your office and you and your team are working on a project, and you have to produce a certain amount of data or information, and after they've 6 weeks or 3 weeks after they've submitted the project, it's now when you're coming up with your information. It's no use. Every information comes with a lifespan. There's a ticket, there's a clock ticking on it. There is a time allocated to and for that information. And if it's not available, if it's not there at the right time, it's as good as not there at all. So information must be accurate, it must be timely, it must be available at the right time. And number three, information to be considered as good information, it must be relevant. It must be relevant. It must be relevant both in context and in subject. I don't want information about headache when all I have is leg pain. I don't want information about jollof rice when what I'm cooking is a sandwich. I don't want information about how to get to London when where I'm going is Australia. I don't want information about how to do this when what I want to do is that. Information must be relevant to what's on the table. Unfortunately, this is where a lot of people, or this is one of the points at which a lot of people get it all mixed up and end up with the wrong decision. And that is why it's important for you to judge where you get your information from. The source of your information is critical. If not, you will end up with information that is not relevant to the context or the subject that you're dealing with. Make sure the information is relevant. Make sure the information is valuable. Make sure that the information you have has bearing with the thing that you're working on. Number 4, make sure the information is worth the cost. Make sure the information is worth the cost. You know why? Good information is not free. You're either going to pay now or you pay later. Whichever way, you will pay. Good information is not free. It costs money both to develop and to maintain good information. So for information to be worth its cost and its value, there must be an appropriate relationship between that information and the cost thereof. Excuse me. But you know what we like? We like free things. We don't want to pay for it. We just want to have the deeper for the cheaper. We just want free lunch. Guess what? The old saying, if you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. If you pay peanuts, you will get monkeys. Also, for a good information, one of the characteristics of a good information is that it must be sufficient for the purpose that is required. It must be sufficient for the purpose for which it is required. Listen, there's so many information out there in the world. But as you grow older, as you work on this journey, as you travel this journey, you start to identify, you start to eliminate the ones that are not relevant, that are not adding value, that cannot add anything to what you're doing. And you end up with those that are sufficient, those that are needed, those that are required, those that are relevant, those that are critical to what you're doing. Your information must be sufficient. For information to be good information, it must be readily available. It must be easily accessible. It must be readily available. It must be easily accessible. Information should be easy to access. You know, one of the good things that we have these days is this thing called Google. There's nothing you need. There's something you want, there's something you're looking for. Unless you can't get to Google, if you get to Google, it will spew out something for you. Information must be readily available, it must be easily accessible. And that is why these days the idea of I don't know, I'm not, no. You don't know because you don't want to know. If you want to know, somebody said to me once, he said, two things that you must become friendly with: Google and YouTube. Anything you're looking for, anything you want, one of those two or both of them will give you more than enough. So, a good information must be available and must be easily accessible. So, having looked at this regarding information, and we said information is the blueprint, is the input into decision making. Once you have established the quality of your information, once you have confirmed all these characteristics that we talked about just now regarding good information, then now let's look at how to develop good decision making skills. How to now come to a point where you can use this good information that you have to make good decisions as you go along. How to develop good decision making skills. An average human being on a daily basis makes thousands of decisions. Some are big, some are small. Some are relevant, some are irrelevant. Some are physical, some are not. But on every given day, even right now, you and I are making decisions. We are making decisions. Some are just easy and inconsequential. But there are others that are life-changing, destiny-making or breaking. But all in all, they are all decisions. So how do you hone yourself and develop yourself and equip yourself and help yourself to come to a point where you are a good decision maker? What are some of the things you need to take on board? What are some of the skills you need to learn? What are some of the tools or apparatus that are out there that you can use to sharpen your decision making skills? Because a typical day is a journey of constantly making decisions, one after another, one after another, one after another. So, how do you develop excellent decision making skills? Number one, you have to start with the end in mind. Every decision you are about to make or every decision you are making, don't make that decision based on what's in front of you. No. Start with the end in mind. Because one of the good things about starting with the end in mind is typically in the journey of life, a time will come where you become frustrated, where you become dejected, when you become unmotivated, where you just want to chalk it out and kick it off and just have had enough of you. But if you have the end in mind, the end product, the end destination, the end result becomes a magnet that keeps pulling you. It becomes a motivational factor or force that keeps motivating you even at the point where you're about to give up. The reason we make decision is to achieve a certain outcome, is to arrive at a certain destination, is to achieve a purpose. So that purpose, that outcome must be factored in at every step that you're making your decision. If not, you end up with the purpose of going this way and you end up in that way. Because unless you keep the focus, unless you keep your focus on the end goal, there'll be so many distractions and side attractions that are pulling you and encouraging you to look this way and look that way. But if you keep the end in focus, if you keep the end product in focus, you are developing the tenacity, the required attention level that will help you in your decision making. Your decision making could be, oh, I just want to increase my productivity. I want to be able to solve problems. I want to add values to myself. I want to change this about me. I want to arrive at this place. I want to achieve this. Whatever it is that your end product is, keep it in front of you. Whatever you focus on will develop. Whatever you pay attention to, you will receive. When you know where you are going, when you know where you want to go, you can always align yourself. When life tries to drift you off course, because your focus is at the final destination, you pull yourself back to say, no, this is where we're going. But if you make decisions without the end goal in focus, that won't even be, it won't qualify as a decision because there's no end product to it. And decision is all about what's the final result. I like what my older brother says. He will ask you, what's your is equal to? Which means if you add 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's irrelevant whether you put 2 in front or 3 at the back or 4. What is your is equal to? What is the final product? What is the final ingredient? Finality that you are aiming to achieve or arrive at. So for as long as you keep that in your sight, for as long as you uphold that, for as long as you cherish and hold that tightly, you will make good decisions towards achieving that goal. The number 2 way of developing good decision-making skills is you must. I was saying this to somebody some weeks ago. No organization that is worth its name will make any decision now that is not data based, that is not data focused, that is not data driven. Data has become the new oil. All this Google, Facebook, and WhatsApp and all of them are thriving. They are thriving and succeeding on the data that we are giving to them. Those are the things they are able to now market and make a lot of money. For instance, what is Facebook selling that is making so much money? Nothing but data. Advertisers will go to them. Advertisers will align with them. Advertisers will become their friends because they know that what they have acquired, what we have given to them, our name, address, what we like, who we don't like, and this and that. All they do is put an algorithm in place that will harness those data and mix them up and put them in a chunk in such a way that it becomes a gold mine to advertisers. That's why if you go to Google and you type that you're looking for, say you're looking for this mouse, a red mouse, I can tell you for the next 3 days, whether it's on your WhatsApp, whether it's on your Facebook, whether it's on your LinkedIn, whether it's on Google, every time you open your account, there will be an advert in a corner showing you red mouse. Data is key. I like what Edward Deming said. He's an engineer. He said, in God we trust. All others must bring data. In God we trust. Anything outside of that must be data driven. We live in a digitally connected world where everything is running on data. So for you to make good quality decision, for you to be able to stand behind your decision, it has to be data driven. It has to be data based. It must be backed up by some data. You can't make decision just like borrow one from the air. No. What are the data behind this decision? And therefore, it is equally important that the sources of your data must be rich in quality. It must be available in large volumes, and you should be able to analyze them to give you a picture of what you're looking for. So data on its own, just raw data, that's all it is, raw data. But you must be able to mix it together, analyze it, and then it will paint a picture for you. So by using this insight of data and data processing and data managing and data handling and data usage, you will become more scientific in your thinking, in your reasoning, in your consideration, and that will provide you more control in determining the outcome that you are looking for, rather than doing it just because somebody said. No, you are now doing it because you've tested the data, you've examined it, you've analyzed it, you've compared this to that. Now you have a good reason to make that decision. So number 2 way of becoming or developing good decision-making skill is that you must use data. Rely on data. The third way is to use one of the, in my opinion, one of the best management tools ever created, ever invented, ever one of the best ideas as far as management and administration is concerned. It's called SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT analysis. It stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Every time you are faced with making a decision, everywhere you are confronted that you need to make a decision, if you can lay hold of this tool called SWOT, you'll be happy. SWOT is a crucial step in decision-making process because the work that you put into analyzing your SWOT, because you will look at what are the strengths of this option, what are the weaknesses of the option, what are the opportunities that are hidden in this option, what are some of the threats or pitfalls that I haven't seen in this option. When you consider all of this, by the time you distill there, it's like a funnel. You pour everything to the big mouth of the funnel, but the stem is so tiny that only the relevant, the quality one data or process will sieve through, and now you have purified materials with which you can make your decision. once you look at your goals and you define the pattern, and you establish the pattern that is available in once you start to analyze the data, and you apply this tool of SWOT, you are home dry. You are going home with the trophy. Because one of the best things I like about SWOT is that it strips your emotion out of it. Because most of us make decisions that are emotionally laden, emotionally driven, emotionally processed. But with SWOT, all the scenarios are in front of you. All this, the strength of this factor or this option is there. But it never fails to recognize that where there are strengths, there are also weaknesses. Where there are opportunities, there are also challenges or threats. And so when you bring them together and you mix them together, guess what? You will come out with pure gold in your decision making. You will have considered the pros and the cons, the scenarios about this and this and this and that. So the issue of how you feel, no, it's out. All of that will endear the quality of the decision that you make. Another way by developing good quality decision making process or skills is that whenever you have to make a decision, stimulate the outcomes. Don't just go for the first one that presents itself. Don't just think along one line and think that's the only line. There are always other options, and you must consider them. There are always other options, and you must not disregard them. Simulate the various options or the various outcomes. What if we go down this road and this is the outcome? What if we approach it this way and this is the result? What if we just fold our arms and we are not doing anything? What will be the result? What if we made that phone call or write that letter or go to that meeting or attend that conference or visit that person? Look at all your outcomes from different angles. Because then you are not blind, you are not blinded to an option. Use your ability to visualize. Just think through. Just paint an image. Look down the line with your imaginary ability. Use your imagination to see, okay, if I move this to here, how would that affect that? And what will be the outcome of this one that I've already completed? How will this rotation now affect that? Look at the various outcomes. That way you've covered all your grounds. Simulate the various outcomes. And finally, the last trick, the last skill that you must develop and hone in order for you to make good quality decisions is one of the things that a lot of us we've lost. You must trust your instincts. You must trust your instinct. One of the things that God gave women in abundance and men are still praying for is this thing called intuition. I can't see it, but it is real. I can't explain it, but I know it is there. There's just something on the inside that says this is it. Henry Winkler said something. He said, your mind knows only some things. Your inner voice, which is your instinct, knows everything. if you listen to what you know instinctively, it will always lead you down the right path. If you allow your inner inner compass to guide you, if you allow your spirit to lead you, if you are led by the spirit, it will always lead you down the right path. But what do? Especially for men, because we cannot rationalize it, we discard it. Because we cannot explain it, we discard it. We disregard it. We nullify it. Intuition, your gut feeling, your instinct, something that is speaking from the inside that you are not hearing with your physical ears, but you're hearing it on the inside. It's one of the things that there is no programmer in the world, there is no software code anywhere that can replicate it, that can replace it, that can subdue it. That's why when you read the biography of some of the greatest leaders this world have seen, some of the people, the movers and shakers, some people that made history, a lot of things, at some point in their life, they cannot explain logically the reason behind the decision, but only by the instinct, the God's feeling. Something on the inside said, this is the way, this is the right course of action, this is the right time, this is the right thing to do. Your instinct, the voice on the inside of you, is one of those things that in today's world we've just disregarded. We've underestimated its power, its capacity, its ability, especially when it comes to decision making. And yet, it is perhaps one of the best things that God gave us. One of the best things that we have to guide us in life. So if you want to be making good, solid decisions, if you want to make 2019 count by the quality of the decisions that you make, you need to train yourself. You need to educate yourself. You need to study yourself and learn to hear that voice of your instinct and understand how your instinct works, how your inner spirit speaks to you, because it's not the same for everybody. Yours is unique to you, just as mine is unique to me. But if you would learn to understand how it works, it would deliver you from a lot of trouble. For those of us that are married, as a man, you will know, truth be told. I know a lot of men will not sign up for this, but the truth is, there are things that you have been delivered from because your wife said, I just don't feel. It just doesn't sit with me. And you're like, whoa, what are you talking about? I mean, look at this. And you examine that, and you add this to that. Everything works out. And she said, yes, but I don't know. It just doesn't sit with me. I have learned to listen. And you know why? I have paid a lot of heavy prices for those times that I didn't listen, for those times that I disregard the voice of this intuition, this instinct, especially when it's coming from your wife. Men, do yourself a favor. Listen. She comes to you, she said, look, I have nothing against Paul and Jeremy. I just don't feel, there's something about them. It just does not sit well with me. That's not the time to tell her the history of how you and Jeremy and Paul came from the same village and ate from the same pot. That's the time for you to listen. And that's not the time for you to call Jeremy and Paul and say, guess what? My wife says she doesn't like you. That's the time for you to pay attention. That's the time for you to listen even to you, the voice on the inside of you. Because most of the time, in almost all the cases, there is a witness on the inside of you. You just disregard it. So if you want to learn to make good quality decisions, perhaps one of the best things you can do is to learn the voice of your instinct. Thank you so much for being part of today's program. I know we covered so many things and just trying to, but ultimately the focus, at least for this last 2 weeks and maybe for the next few weeks, is to make 2019 count. What do I have to do? Who do I have to become? What do I need to change? How do I manage myself so that 2019 can be a year to reckon with, a year of reference, a year that I can truly say, I did not just exist, but I lived a life of purpose, of fulfillment, and I have something tangible to show for it at the end of 2019. Thank you for being part of today's program. I appreciate your commitment, your dedication, your support, your encouragement, your feedbacks. They are all just, they make it worth the effort that goes into preparing for these programs. And I can assure you, I am learning, I am growing, I am getting better and getting bigger on the inside. And I am convinced that you are too. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving on. Like we said at the beginning, this is a journey of discovery because there's a destination that is ahead of us. There is a purpose in front of us. We are people of destiny and we refuse to give up, to quit. We will not cut short our own progress by giving up. It's not an option. Giving up is not an option. So, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Before I go tonight, I just want to inform you that watch the space. Watch this space, the space on this platform. There is an announcement that is coming up very shortly, and I can assure you it's going to be a blessing to you. So just keep watching. I will let you know when it is or when it's ready. But there's something really, really exciting that is coming, and I can't wait to start sharing it. So watch this space. Amen. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Whatever you do, have fun. Make good decisions. God bless you. Bye-bye.